just so frustrating.
Well,
I don't ask them for stuff a lot, but when I want them to do something, they'll say.
all right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Amy, would you mind taking the roll call?
Sure. Mayor Bogenreith,
Here.
Ms. Berkhoop. Here. Ms. Hoffman,
Here.
Ms. Strain. Here. And Mr. Tucker.
Here.
And we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, look for an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, and then we'll look for a motion to approve the minutes from August 4th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Commissioner, department head, and community board reports.
I have a few things to report. Met with Jessica and I met with the library board of trustees and Leanne last week and discussed a new set of rules for the behavior and things that go on at the library, some code of conduct type policies. She's going to run those rules by the board, and then they'll post those on the library. And the reason for that is just a code of conduct to help both the patrons, the employees, and management understand what the rules of engagement are in the library and what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And so that'll be posted here hopefully in the coming weeks. I wanted to talk a little bit about the McCook Lake no wake zone and talking to Game Fish and Parks. They're going to hold off on the no wake zone until next spring, or it'll remain a no wake zone until next spring, at which time they'll take it off in the spring. In the meantime, there could be some listening sessions where the Game Fish and Park staff can hear from the community on reopening the lake. And then the commissioners will have a decision to make in the coming months as to when to reopen the public boat dock. We're trying to get the docks replaced and that kind of stuff, and once that gets done, at that point, in conjunction with Game Fish and Parks, you can make your decision on the public boat ramp. One thing I wanted to report to you also is working on work plans for all the community, the city boards and commissions that we have, try to coordinate all those activities and get them all marching in the same direction, to the same drummer. So right now, and I hope to be able to engage the commissioners individually. Some of those are participating in the development of those work plans. They're going to outline the mission statements, the goals, objectives, quarterly goals, and commission deliverables. In other words, what are these commissions and boards expected to deliver for the commission? And this is really to try to create a higher sense of accountability from city staff to the commissioners, from the boards to the commissioners, so that we can get action plans that are measurable as we move forward. And so, for example, we have a utilities work plan, which Julie will be a big part of, streets, the street department, which Vince will be part of, finance would be Lynn, North Sioux City Economic Development would probably be Chris, Housing Redevelopment Commission would be Chris, Planning and Zoning would be Vince, Park and Public Lands would probably be Vince and or Lynn, Library would be Jessica, Police Department would be Jessica. So all those departments, all those work plans, hopefully by the end of this year we can bring those together, and when we get into 2026, we'll have those work plans in place. We'll have some quarterly targets to hit, so that we're all kind of moving in the same direction. So hopefully that will be a little more work for the commissioners, but I think it will pay off for everybody as we try to put these meetings together and move through 2026. Couple of things, just wanted to remind the commission of the Tri-State Governors Conference on August 26th from 11 to 3, and then the chamber dinner September 25th, starting about 6:15.
Anybody else have anything that's not on the agenda?
I was just going to take a second to recognize all the city employees that put all of the effort towards National Night Out, because it was really, really cool. You had a lot of community engagement. It was a beautiful night. The kids were having a blast. The food was good. It was fun. It was good. Getting ready for next year. Yeah.
Thanks, Jess. All right, we'll move on to community input. And just as a reminder, if your item you'd like to speak about is on the agenda, feel free to wait for that agenda item. Otherwise, if it's not on the agenda, feel free to come forward.
Hi, I'm Anna Folk on 60 North Shore Drive. And I wanted to commend you guys for keeping us updated on the work that's done on North Shore, so that, like, I had to move my car because they needed to take work on both of my driveways. So that was nice because I had some things to do, so they made sure that I was able to get in and out.
Good.
And I just asked that maybe they can put a little bit more gravel where the asphalt and my drive meets, because there's quite a little bump there to go up and that. So if they could put some gravel in there, that would be great. And then thank goodness they're finally working on filling some dirt in for my driveway and to get some of the weeds out of there, and so that it looks halfway decent. And then also, can they spray again for mosquitoes, because it's been a while and they're pretty bad.
Remember last time, Rusty?
Thursday night? Okay, I didn't see it. Usually I'm sitting there and I can see them when they go by, so.
They're not
thank
quite
you.
dead yet.
Yep. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thanks, Anna. Anyone else? Hello, Kathy.
Hi there, everyone. How are you doing?
Good. Good.
We got a group of us here. We're going to probably just go together here a little bit because we're all going to be addressing the same thing. This is a group that's in support of the bypass project from North Shore Drive. We all live on North Shore. I've been there like 45 years. Everybody's been here quite a few years. And we're in support of the bypass. If you live on North Shore, the time in the morning with the school traffic, the time in the afternoon with the school traffic, there's any activities at the school, plus now we get a lot more Windstone traffic, because there's so many houses down in the Windstone Deer Run, traffic area. It's gets very hard to get in and out of your driveway. When my kids were little, thank God, I had a basketball court across the street, and we had a lot of traffic then. That was always a big concern, my kids crossing that street, because it was so busy. Luckily, nothing ever happened. They're long gone now. That doesn't matter to me, but there's other kids in that area. And it's since I was on the school board for 20 years, 15 years ago, when they built the schools, they always knew that was going to be a concern that needed to be addressed back then, even when we built the schools. And at the time, the city was talking about the dike that they were going to put in to move us out of the floodplain, and they were hoping to maybe tie that together. That never happened. And now we're out of the floodplain, so I guess for some reason we're out, but we should be in. But that was talked about back then, but money was always a problem. That's a big dollar amount to put that road in. And to bypass on the funds that have been earmarked now for that road would just seem like a real shame if that road doesn't get put in and you lose all those funds from the federal government, because it's probably never going to happen again. If you pass on them now, you're never going to get them, I'm sure.
Yeah, here's our chance to get it in there. We need it. We've lived at 25. Brady was raised there. But, what was What was the traffic count 15, 20 years ago, like Kathy was saying? And versus, maybe Rich knows, what is it today?
The state of traffic count measures that there is more than
It's bad enough to where in the morning, the cars are lined up over the bridge. There's kids in it, there's people on the both, you guys know the routine. And now we had to add a lane to get off the interstate. What's that tell you? There's a problem. And for safety of, you know, us, grandkids, kids at school, and like Kathy was saying, these activities tonight, just, I left, you know, to get here. It was 30, 35 mile an hour through there. Is it 15?
They don't go.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's crazy,
Even
so.
when you're sitting there, they don't go.
The police does a good you know, they
Yeah.
do as much as they can to control it, but they can't be there 24/7, so it gets out of control sometimes on the speed.
Yeah, just for the safety of everybody, you know, just not us, kids, you guys up and down that road.
I know you guys hear a lot from a few that don't want that road there because for different reasons they have, but there's a lot of us that want that new road. So we just want to make sure you guys are aware, and I'm sure you are, that that road is very important to a lot of us.
It's needed, and
Yeah.
our community's growing. There's new developments every day, you know. All right, that traffic's gonna get worse, there's gonna be more families hauling, you know, kids to school, and so we need to make sure we keep the momentum going, so.
There would be one point that I went out and, like this last week when the road closure for Penrose going through there, it's my son and I, he's 2. And so, seeing the traffics in the morning and the afternoon, there isn't any homes that would be affected as far as a real close proximity. Like I can't even trust my 2-year-old or my future children to even be close to North Shore. The bike path, having any families there. Hopefully North Shore will be restored to better in health and all that stuff in the next year or so. But it gave me like a realization on how busy that road is to where I have to keep my eyes on roads. And any other kids. I mean, there's kids that grew up down Penrose, that grew up on North Shore. I would really like to see it. And obviously, there's some older generations that live on North Shore. I'm the younger generation. I'd like to see it.
What do you get?
So,
Yeah.
the traffic.
Yeah, the traffic's
The
bad.
traffic that is, I'm sorry. I'm too hard on myself.
That didn't go well, yeah.
My boss is just incredibly hard.
You put your foot in the mouth.
Semi-trucks that go
Yeah,
through there.
just the traffic that goes through there. Like I can't lay my eyes on with my son kind of thing. And I know a lot of other families wouldn't be able to just with the amount of traffic that is driving through there, so.
You know, to give you an
Sorry,
idea.
that's my point.
When I was heading to the meeting, the traffic coming off the bridge is 30, 35, whatever. They're flying. They're trying to get to school. Coming from the schools, I'm look back and it's going really slow. And here comes 2 kids that tall on bicycles. And it was like, oh my God. And it was like, yeah. And they're, you know what, with everybody on their cell phones now and these kids on, you know how it is. Just hate to see it happen, so.
We're just here to make sure you realize that there's a lot of people that really support the bypass. There's a few voiceless ones that don't, but there's a lot of other people that do support it, so.
Appreciate your
Yeah,
feedback.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Anyone else?
I'm Debbie Olson on Penrose 19, and I too appreciate the National Night Out. I thought it was a great event. There are a lot of people that benefit from the bypass that I don't know are going to be helping to pay for it, like Windstone and the Dunes and some of those. So I don't know if anybody's thought about, they will benefit from the infrastructure, so I don't know if that's possible or not. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think we'll move into the agenda. First on is McCook Lake Recovery, Penrose update.
And thanks for having a road now.
John Brown with Stockwell Engineers. Say, update on the Penrose construction project. Tonight, we've got a change order and a pay request for the Penrose project. The change order covers a couple of items that were unforeseen when we got started with the project. They involve some erosion protection along North Shore. When we had a big rain early on in the project, we had the contractor go out and restore some of the bank along the steeper slopes. So one of those items was that, and the other item had to do with some debris removal. When we were doing some of the underground work, we ran into some more debris, and as part of our FEMA recovery work, we have to haul that to a landfill. So that was landfilled, and so those weigh tickets and the cost of that are included as part of this. And so this $11,000 change order is for work that was unforeseen in the construction, and we recommend approval of that item. And we also recommend approval of the pay request that will be coming up. But to give you a little update on where we're at with the project, you've all seen the concrete work is completed on the mainline paving. The contractors will be working on the grading portion of that, the driveways behind the curb, all the work that will go to restoring that. And they'll be pouring concrete driveways later this week and into next week. We anticipate within 2 weeks, all that work should be pretty much wrapped up with the exception of some incidental items. So we're anticipating, traffic being able to go back onto Penrose, early next week, sometime next week. They may have to share the road a little bit when we're doing some of the repairs or some of the punch list items on Penrose, but we'll be able to get people in and out by the end of next week, middle to the end of next week. So it's very good progress. We had a slow start because of the rain, but it's coming all together. So,
What was pay request number 2 for the amount?
pay request number 2 is included, and it is in the amount of 151 and $161,270.70. $161,270.70 is the pay request.
I have a question about the pay request. Does that include deducting for the sidewalk that's not going to be on the west side?
Not yet. So we've got unit values on all that. So what'll end up happening is we just won't pay for that. So it's a unit price in the contract. So at the end of the project, there'll be a deduct for that work that'll be part of a change order. When we're all done with the project, we equal out, zero out all the quantities, and so there should be a deduct for that sidewalk. I think it was about $16,000 that'll show up at that point. So this is an add of about $12,000, but then we'll have a deduct at the end for some sidewalk credit.
All right, so we need a vote on just the change order? Yeah, so we'll vote on the change order. I'll look for a motion for that.
I make a motion that we approve the change order number 1 to the Penrose reconstruction.
I'll second that. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then,
When will you be able to have cars on there, and does that include like trucks with dirt?
So we anticipate opening the Penrose up sometime middle of next week for trucks, for anything that, yeah. I mean, it has strength on it right now, but our contractors need some room to get the driveways completed and some of that work. Once we're completed on one side, we'll probably just start taking half of the road and leaving the other half open so people can get in and out and get their work done.
All right. Look for a motion on pay request number 2.
So moved. I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to Dakota Valley parking lot update. Pay request number 1.
So this project is complete. This is not the final pay request though, but this project has been wrapped up. We did get all the work associated with Dakota Valley parking lot completed, but this pay request is just through about 90% of the work. And so we'd recommend approval of this pay request in the amount of $158,164.56.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion,
Chris, I just wanted to take a minute to thank Harris Construction and Lieber Construction, Barkley Asphalt, Dakota Valley School District, Dakota Dunes for helping get that whole thing wrapped up by, I just got finished yesterday at about 2 o'clock and got it open, but everybody was very cooperative and worked late to kind of make up for the rain days. So that was appreciated.
thank you. All right, Phase 1, homeowner recovery budget.
At a meeting on July 7th, the commission asked the staff to kind of gauge the interest in acquiring some of the properties that were completely damaged and torn down from the 2024 flood. And, you know, we applied a formula to it at the request of the commission of 2 times the pre-flood assessed valuation or the total pre-flood valuation of the land and the building, less the demolition costs that were incurred in December of 24 as we took some of those properties down. So I've talked to every property owner. You know, nobody just sent in a letter. They all met with pretty much all of them, and they're all, as a general rule, interested in that proposal. The 2 things, and I mentioned this in my email or my memo here, I think I just wanted to let the commission know, and these were 2 common threads above everybody I talked to, was the frustration of having the demolition cost deducted, mainly because they felt they could have done it cheaper themselves. I tried to explain to them that we had to abide by all the state and federal regulations on demolishing these homes and separating out the different debris and taking it to a licensed landfill and all that stuff. And maybe that's why the cost was a little bit more per unit. The other part of, and we spent about a total of $1.1 million on that demolition project in late December of 2024. And the other comment that I heard was there was just a little bit of, everybody was grateful for the idea and the offers and stuff, but they were, some of them felt that the property was worth more, fair market value was worth more. And so I wanted to point that out to the commission as we move to the next step. You know, I guess I would say what the staff is looking for now is we have a budget of about $4.8 million rounding up, $4.8 million plus the closing costs that would be associated with that. I guess if given that number of 4.8, you know, we could use CDBG-DR money, we could use some of our own reserve money. There's other ways to finance it if those 2 things don't work out, but 4.8 million, and you'll see what that is as a percentage of our total holdings at this point. But I would just recommend that at some point we need to make, if you want to continue to move forward, I think the next step is to formulate formal offers, kind of like we did with the North Shore Bypass project. Make formal offers, get those sent out, and let people react to those official binding offers. But I would not do that until the CDBG DR money has made its way through the HUD review process, which, as I understand it, should come sometime between the end of August and September 15th. That's the 30 to 45 days that they get to see it. And once that has been done, we can then we can start applying for the money and start trying to secure it for this acquisition. At that point, you could maybe make some official offers, but, you know, all the due diligence and stuff as far as the interest goes has been completed, and I think you do have some significant interest on the formula that you presented, but is some skepticism, as there always will be.
Jeff, on these two pain points that have been brought up, one is the demolition reduction. So the way our formula worked was we were offering the appraised or the assessed value of the land and the house before it was destroyed, but we deducted the full amount that was spent on demolition, even though the city's portion of that was only 10% of the full demolition cost. What if the city were to just deduct the 10% that the city spent rather than the 100% that FEMA spent? What would that do? What would that do?
That would add about $995,000 to the overall budget. I mean, not everybody's going to take your offers and that kind of stuff, but, you know, potentially if everybody did, you're adding another $995,000 to it. The one thing that I did point out to the homeowners is that's a cost they would have been responsible for had we not undertaken the CDBG project, or not the CDBG, the FEMA demolition project. And that's when they said, well, we could have done it cheaper. So, you know, it was good to get rid of them all because they were a health and safety hazard, but at the same time, maybe if we waited, they would have taken them down for cheaper. So, but so your total budget under that new scenario where we only deduct the 10% should bring it to about 5.7 to 5.8 plus closing costs.
And maybe that's something we could consider once we know the funding source and we know how many takers there will be for the offer.
The people from zip code 57038, have they made any approach to asking for part of that fund?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I guess just as an opinion, I think that would be one way to, because the city did not spend 100% of that demolition, we only spent 10%. So that might be something we might want to consider.
I think you'd want to look at it overall, not just because we only paid 10% of that cost. We have paid 100% of some other costs, and I'm sure there will be other costs that we won't have that savings. So I think we have to look at it as a whole, not just segregate this one thing.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing too is if CDBG funds help fund this, are they going to require appraisals? Because we don't have appraisals.
Would say it's a safe bet that they would, yeah.
And maybe that's something we should consider, getting appraisals on these. I think it's 21 lots that had homes destroyed. So that might be something to consider too, is being proactive and getting those appraised so people have an idea what their fair market value is.
Yeah, the appraisal would be, you know, when we go to set offers, if we go that far, that would be one thing that you could put on your spreadsheet to compare and make your decision on what the offers would be, is, you know, appraisal value. Pre-flood appraisal. Pre-flood appraisal, right? Of the land.
No, as is today.
Oh, as is, okay.
If they had to fill it, if they had to
Oh,
fill
right,
their
yeah.
lot. Yeah. So, no action, you're not looking for any action today?
Can we get the appraisals?
Yeah, I would actually like to see appraisals on those 21 lots, so people know what their fair market value is, so we know what it is,
Yeah, if we're gonna use.
and then we can always revisit the formula. I'd make a motion to order.
I'm not against helping anybody, but I just want us to look at the entire picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think appraisals help you do that.
Yeah, that helps us look at the big picture too. So, is there a second on that, to get appraisals?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion on that?
Are there people who turn it down, like just said no dice?
There are a couple.
Well, we don't want to appraise them then, right? I mean, if they're not involved in this at all.
I think, they didn't want to sell because they felt it was below appraised value. And so if we show them what appraised value is, maybe they would be interested. And I think for the two properties that were not included, or that said no, I think it would be wise to include the whole package.
19.
I mean, it's
So it's 19 versus
incrementally
21
small amount.
appraisals.
And that budget number included everyone. I didn't exclude them, just because I wanted to make sure that we had at least accounted for it in the budget.
And that's the worst case scenario.
That's the worst case.
Okay. Any other discussion on?
The other, before, one thing I
Sure.
forgot to mention, as I went through that process, I did have other people come to me and say, hey, while there were some houses destroyed, there were others that were marginally, maybe they should have, maybe they shouldn't, but they chose not to be destroyed. And so they wanted the commission to understand that they are having to spend a lot of money on rehabilitating their houses. I mean, there were some that had yard damage and stuff like that, or water in the basement, but there were some that were, should I destroy, or should I demolish it, or shouldn't I demolish it? And some chose not to. Had they chosen to demolish it, they would have been part of this group too. So.
All right, there's a motion on the table. Any other discussion on the appraisals? If not, call for a vote.
For the appraisals?
Yeah. All those in favor, say aye.
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 I
Oh.
need to abstain.
Okay. Any opposed? Same sign? Okay, motion carries on the appraisals.
Craig had a question, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
If the city ends up,
Oh, could you come up to the mic, Craig? Thanks.
so if the city ends up with a lot, what's the intent? Is
Ye-
it gonna be green space?
The intent is either infrastructure, right-of-ways, green space, all of the above. I mean, it helps the city as well, but I can't tell you exactly how every single lot would be used, but it would be used for one of those three things.
Okay. Like for rebuilding lakefronts and what's out there, I think it's something we need to look at. What's still in the lake, that never got cleaned up, so going forward.
Yeah, and if the city were able to acquire those, I'm assuming there would be some shoreline stabilization that would have to happen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also, is there gonna be some requirements to get the rest of the stuff out of the lake from the homeowners?
It's a good question.
I didn't hear.
Stuff that's still in the lake, there's still a lot of debris, a lot of, decks, houses, parts. Like, there's two lots next to me, there's 23 and 21. Those houses, half the houses are in the lake. They're buried underneath a big pile of dirt right now. We just got done redoing our lakefront, and we took a dump truck load of crap out of there.
I think the
So-
questions that you're asking will be better answered once we know what we can acquire and what we can't.
Okay.
And I think there has to be an interest, at least on my part, to try to put together projects that would restore that shoreline so it doesn't degrade anymore.
Because as you put water to that lake and throw some waves on it, that stuff's all gonna come out, and it's gonna have to be cleaned up. So, Water's, it'll just take it, any dirt that's there, it'll be a mess, so.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to North Shore Bypass, letting authorization form.
Yeah, as I said in my memo, one of the requirements of the agreement that we passed last week or the week before requires the city to approve a letting authorization form that authorizes the county to put it out for bid on our behalf. It's not awarding the bid or anything like that, it's just gives them permission to let it. And to do that, I provided two different versions of the bid letting form. One includes the lift station at $27.7 million. One without the lift station at a cost of $25.2 million. And, you know, those costs are considerably higher than the original estimate that was done back in 21, but still doable. The reason I would recommend that we leave the lift station out is I think that's as an expensive component, $2.5 million, that we can phase in over time as development occurs out there. You know, one thing that we did, that the city did on the southwest lift station is we spent $7 million on that lift station, and then the development was slow to respond. The development that was meant to pay for it was slowed and didn't develop as quickly as we would have liked it to. It's developing now, and that'll start paying for that lift station, but if we do a lift station out there today and put $2.5 million in the ground, which would likely be our money, we would have to wait for the development to occur to pay for it. In the meantime, city ratepayers would be paying for it. So that's why in my memo I recommended that we put this or approve the $25.2 million bid letting form to allow the DOT to continue that process, and that we would phase the North Shore Bypass lift station in over time, and maybe build it in conjunction with the other two lift stations that we're planning.
And we're not giving up any external sources of funding by carving that out of this project.
You know, we've got the
That's all city
we got the 17 million in congressionally designated spending, and then we got about another 1.5 to 1.8 million for FEMA for the water line that goes around there. And so at the end of the day, we'll still have the road to bypass traffic. We'll still have the water line that will loop around to the west side and provide them redundancy. And we'll have all the gravity sanitary sewer in place to serve later, to serve the lift station.
So what do you think is going to be our end of it?
25 million minus 17 minus 1.5.
We're going to have to come up with 1.5 is all?
No, 25 minus 17.
Okay.
I don't have my phone.
Yeah, it's about,
Yeah, 5.6 million. And we will be able to use some CDBG-DR money for that. And that will come over the 26, 27, probably 28 budgets over 3 budget years. We've got some money programmed in for the 26 budget for the last half part of 26 for some of this work.
I really like this project in terms of not only the traffic concerns that the North Shore residents mentioned earlier in the meeting, but also for all the school traffic coming from the Lakeshore area. I mean, I don't live that far from school, but I never felt comfortable letting my kids walk or take their bikes to school because they had to cross North Shore. So it solves a lot of safety concerns in my opinion. And then in addition, to get that water and sewer line redundancy is so critical. If we would have had that prior to the flood, our lives would look a lot different today. And I just think we need that redundancy in in those utility systems for the people on the other side of the lake. It's just good for the entire community. So I would like to make a motion to approve the letting authorization form with option, or without the lift station.
I totally agree. I'm pro bypass. I'm not pro cost. I just think we can make it way cheaper. I don't think we need to spend $5 million on it. I think we messed up with the location. I think we messed up with the way we did it, and I think we could have done it and made everybody happy, or the vast majority of people way happier than what they are. I think it's in the wrong spot. I'm pro bypass. I think we need to do something too. I have to set up my street for about 5 minutes to get out on the road to go to school. And I should be walking to school, probably be way healthier. But the idea is, I totally understand where we're coming with this. I just don't think we need to have curves, and I don't think we need to have medians, and I don't think we need to have all that fancy stuff. I think we could get way cheaper, and I think we could have the same thing. We want to remember one thing: it's a road that goes nowhere, right? It makes a loop, is all it does. I'm not against building it. I just think we could do it way cheaper, and I'd like to work on ways to make it way cheaper.
Will there be any alternates in the bid?
So if we make the bid, can we go in and say, we think it's way too high, we need to get rid of the curves? Or we need to get rid of the median?
I think the DOT has made it pretty clear that the way the project was put together is the way it's got to be finished at this point, with the exception, if you choose not to go forward with it, you know, the reality is you're probably going to lose the $17 million. And so then it would be funded by you for whatever you built, whether it was something less than what it is on our plans at this point. But those plans were established, the development of that section was established for the most part back when the project was taken to peer for funding. The median, the controlled access, well, the reason for the median is for access management, and that's an important thing for transportation. We don't want a lot of driveways on that new road, the new bypass, and the reason you do that is, the reason you put the median in is so that you don't have a driveway every 200 or 300 feet, so that you have a lot of conflicts when people are pulling out of them. So these arterial roadways like this are meant for, the traffic to move a little faster and safer within a corridor like this. And then the other streets that are adjacent to it become more of a local street. And that traffic then is much less because it isn't the through traffic going on there. And so that typical section, if you will, with the median and in the lanes in each direction, was established early on. That's something very common in our practice with engineering practice, and it's something that is required as part of our design parameters when we put the project together. It's also required that we put not just vehicle access on there, but pedestrian access, and we make sure that we have pedestrian access throughout the corridor. And so it has a bike lane as well, or a trail on the south side of it. We did cut one of the trails off the north side to help reduce some of the costs. We did reduce some of the other things that were part of that overall project, but as part of the environmental assessment, when that started 3 years ago, that pretty much set the stage for what typical section we were going to be building, meaning what kind of a roadway it was going to look like. As far as the location was still yet to be determined, but as far as the process goes, that's pretty much established way back early on in the project.
Let me just frame it this way. Say we were gonna do it that way and trim the project way down and just pave a road around the school with the stop signs, without the curves, all that stuff. It costs us $10 million. Or it costs $10 million to do that. We'd have to forego the $17 million. So now our cut is $10 million instead of $5 million. So this project serves the purposes we want for $5 million. So it just makes a lot of sense to try to do it for $5 than it does for $10. and at a lower quality rate, in my opinion. Less functionality, less water, less sewer, all that stuff. So I get the fact that you want to save money, but when you're talking about 17 million, you're talking the difference between paying 5 million and 10 million, or 5 million and 15 million, depending on how the project pays out. So I get what you're saying, but the $17 million makes our $5 million way more valuable. That's just my just to frame that, that cost in for you, is that, you know, using the grant money, 5 million, or not using it, 10 to 12. Think of it that way.
Totally get it. Totally understand. I'm just, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to add all that extra stuff in there. And I understand what you're saying, the functionality, and people will use it more and all that other kind of stuff, right? It's still what it is. It is what it is, right?
It would be less functional.
It's a road that goes nowhere. It's a road that makes a loop, is what it is. And we could we have changed it back in May, John? Like when we were first talking about it, right? When we were talking about, and way back in like in May, I think you, or April, you assured me
We
that
did.
we could.
Why would we?
Because we've been
We went
talking this
back,
a long
we
time
went,
ago.
at that point, we did go back to the state, and it was not changeable at that time. We asked them point blank, like you had asked, and we did. We asked the state if there was a way. What would have happened was we'd have had to change the environmental assessment, which was the thing that took 2.5 years the way it was. So we'd had to start that process over.
The end
And when
result
we-
would have been the same.
Yeah, at the end of the environmental assessment, we'd have still ended up with a similar result of what we had, and it would have cost us 2.5 more years, and it would have cost us the 17 million because of the delay. So the other thing I want to point out, one thing if I can. So the project cost now is, let's say it's $25.5 million. It was going to be 21.5 or 22 million anyway for you to capitalize on the 17 million. It's important that you understand that there's only really $2.5 million over, or 3 million over what you would have been spending anyway to capitalize on the full $17 million. Does that make sense? So it's a split. So the $17 million is a split. So if we'd ended up, so you're really only spending about 2.5 or $3 million more than what was estimated back in 21 or 22. So it's important you understand that.
Well, for a school teacher, $3 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's a lot for everyone.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is it's a little bit closer to that budget than what I think people think.
I think early on, we talked about it was gonna be close to 25 million.
Right.
So I don't think we can change that.
Pam Edwards, 1303 Quinella. I just want to address the road to nowhere. It is not a road to nowhere. The goal would be, with the bypass, taking that traffic off of the current roadway of North Shore, the current North Shore Drive, which is a farm-to-market road. The county had that, the city took that some years ago. There was a big debate at that time because the county needed that road open because it's a farm-to-market road. So the goal would be then, all your farm traffic, your grain carts, your combines, all that stuff, the residents of Deer Run, the residents of Windstone, people coming to visit, people going to Isaac Walton, people going to Maud Adams. All that traffic can be now diverted with this roadway. My argument is, I wish you would have had both. I know it saved maybe a little bit of money, but having a walking trail on the north side of that road could have helped create a levee. A roadway cannot be a levee, but a walking trail could. So I had always, really advocated for that, because what happened when the water came with North Shore? There were no gutters. There was no storm drain inlets. It took the road. So with a road that's structured and engineered correctly, hopefully that would not happen again, where it literally took the road with it. So I can't imagine the conversation right now leaving $17 million on the table. that we're getting for federal funds and state funds, and only 5 million, and you're gonna get a brand-new roadway that'll make it safer for the kids to use their bikes, ride their bikes to school. It'll be less traffic along and congestion along the original North Shore where people are pulling out of their driveways. To me, it's a no-brainer, but, I mean, I understand you have a concern. I get it. I just don't understand how you can let your taxpayers at some point in time spend $10 million more for a road that right now costs you $5 million. And not only that, you've already paid for the studies, right? You've got 1.5 tied up in studies and all of that. So I just think it's a disservice to the taxpayers not to move forward.
Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
All right, there is a motion on the table for option 2. Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any other discussion?
This is just for bidding is all, right?
This is to let the bid.
This is just to authorize the bid letting form, which is a step in the process.
Okay. Amy, would you mind taking a roll call?
Just to
Oh,
clarify,
sorry.
it's, when you say option 2, are you talking about without the
Without
lift
the
station?
Without the lift station.
Okay, Mayor Bogenreith,
Aye?
Ms. Burhoop,
Aye.
Ms. Hoffman,
Aye.
Ms. Strain,
Aye.
Mr. Tucker.
I'll vote aye just for the bidding.
All right. Motion carries. All right, let's move on to Streeter Drive Water Plant Expansion. Is that you, John? Just stay up here the whole time.
Somebody else is going to take that one. Streeter Drive Water Plant Expansion, give you a little update on that. Punch list items are coming along real well. The tank was relined this last week, and it's being cured out today. We think we'll be able to be putting the water plant back online tomorrow morning is the plan. And so we'll be able to tell whether or not that liner sealed up the cracks in the old tank. But this pay request is a partial pay request, number 19, in the amount of $169,286.95. We'd recommend approval.
Hey, I'll look for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
One
sign.
other note on that is the Streeter Drive Water Treatment Plant, the expansion that we built is operational now. It is providing to our supply matrix. Right now, it's offline so that we could fix that detention tank issue that we talked to you about last time.
Right.
So that it is all functioning, it's all working well. It's offline right now so that we can fix that detention tank problem, so.
All right. Next item is Union Crossing.
Yeah, I just want to, Rick, come on up. Rick's going to give just an update on the project itself, and then we have a business item to address.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Weger with Union Crossing. Jeff, thanks for inviting me here today to speak to you guys. I really appreciate the opportunity. First of all, our vision remains the same, right? Create a community or a development that people can live, work, and thrive. The big news on that, though, I mean, the change that we see in the city throughout your leadership and the commissioners and the administrative and management has just been incredible. And we truly feel like you guys are partners with us, and we're just totally, really, really grateful for all your support and your efforts that you're putting into this. So thank you very much. As far as progress, we green lit this in April, so 4 months ago. And it took me a while to grasp this. This is 80 acres. I think this is the largest development in this area for quite some time. And I want it to be done tomorrow. I want to be building houses yesterday. But we began the process this year in July, after we got plans approved and completed. We started our earthwork. We're about 80% done with the earthwork at this point. The apartment sites included are being developed so they can get started in September. The next critical piece was the commercial infrastructure. We started on that about 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, with a deadline to be completed with utilities and paving for the commercial piece by September of '25. We have a lot of interest in the commercial. I think at this point, I'd be surprised if we had more than 4 acres for sale by the end of this year, which is good news for everybody. Cost recoveries come in and, you know, vertical construction starts going up and et cetera. So we've had great success. So we've had, because of our commitments though on the apartment sites and stuff, we had to start with the commercial first as a priority. The second piece of that now is the residential. Now the residential has got 2 phases, 1A and 1B. Each one has around 60 lots, thereabouts, close to that. Last Friday, we entered into a contract with the Minnesota heavy civil contractor, negotiated terms, and in those terms where they would start immediately. So you'll see that starting to work in the next couple of weeks on infrastructure. But the key was that they had to be paved by December 30th. So that was huge for us. If we can get paid by the 30th, we can continue to work on gas, electric, street dedications, plating, and be building rooftops, you know, early '26. So that was huge for us. So that just happened last Friday. Residential, I mean, we obviously have a ton of interest. Met with several contractors. I think if we could sell lots today, we'd sell half of them tomorrow. Just people walking in and buying lots. So I think our key is to just get this thing going and hopefully we're working on our CC&Rs, building guidelines, stay inside of our boundaries of the TIF, the grant, et cetera, for the affordability of the houses. So I would say you would see us probably completing everything in late Q4 and be ready to start selling lots. I'll probably wait till then. I want to make sure we hit some of our milestones for the construction and things like that. I think that's about it, guys. I mean, I think if you guys have any questions, love your input, but I think that's kind of where we're on track with right now.
Can you remind me what your projected price range will be for single family?
Under 385, we're still hitting that target. I'd like to be a lot south of that though, for an average, but max 385 is our guardrails.
Did you say, who do people call that are interested in lots? I mean, I've talked to several people that are interested in lots in that area. Do you have a sales?
Yeah, it was me. I'm the sales force right now, or Pam Edwards. The website has been helpful. I've got 2 or 3 emails that I correspond with weekly on it as well, the Union Crossing website. So that's been helpful. The focus right now, though, is to make sure that we can hit targets. And so selling residential lots right now is just a little difficult. So everybody kind of gets a vague answer. Yes, we're going to be completed. What's the price? We're sort of working on that. What's the CC&Rs? They're still being developed. So it's a little bit premature, and so I still have to remind myself this is massive. I mean, we're out of 80 acres. We're working on 60 acres right now. So it's just a massive undertaking, and it's just going to take a little bit longer than I'd like. But we're pushing hard, and I think by early '26, we're seeing people starting to build homes.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
One thing I would just like to point out to the commission and to everybody that as this area develop, as you see construction of the apartment buildings, the commercial buildings, the residential lots, what that means for the city of North Sioux City is not only the availability of those properties, but also now we've got somebody other than the ratepayers contributing to the debt service associated with the Southwest Lift Station. The development out there will help pay that debt service over time. So the faster that gets up out of the ground, the better off our ratepayers are. The other part of that is the faster that stuff gets out of the ground, the more liquid the TIF becomes, and then we will be able to get our 1.5 million out of it, and the TIF, as it generates cash, will get towards that $10 million number faster, and hopefully that will get that money back out to the taxing entities. So every house that goes up there, every acre that's developed just means is a benefit for the city.
And is there also a pay estimate? No, I'm sorry, declaration of permanent drainage and municipal easements.
That is a requirement that you have in your ordinances that developers, when they are installing or completing their development, they need to follow our stormwater management requirements. We require the owners to have a specifically designed plan for that and have an enforceable agreement with us that attaches those operation and maintenance requirements to the land for that to be further developed. So we get that in place. We have worked with Council for Union Crossing from my office as well as Stockwell Engineering to develop this declaration of permanent drainage and general municipal and utility easements. So this is the legal document that we will need to authorize and approve in order for us to enter into that agreement. They will also sign that, or they probably already have, and then this will be recorded and attached to the land so that going forward, those obligations will continue.
Need a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
One thing, Chris, that I forgot to mention in my reports too is the pedestrian trail that is going to connect Dakota Dunes, North Sioux City, and out to Adams Nature Preserve is getting started. That will go in front of Union Crossing in North Sioux City and hook up to Sioux Point Road in Dakota Dunes. That has gotten started, and the schedule currently calls for both the Dakota Dunes and the North Sioux City project to be completed in November. So that's big news. I didn't think that project being started so late would get done, but this year, so I'm excited to see that too. That'll be a good addition to the Union Crossing area too.
Good to hear. All right, moving on to financial, June 25 financial report.
Okay, cash, we are up $770,000 from June to July. Look at where that's coming from, it's mostly our increase in our water loan, so that was 860. But to do a general breakdown, our general fund is up 198,000 for July, 811,000 for the year. The water fund is up 84,000 for July, 391,000 for the year. Our sewer fund is up 39,000 for the month and 170 for the year. That's the general operating expenses. And then if we look at water, our loan increased by 860,000. And in the sewer fund, we paid off in July 81,000 of our loan. Flood recovery, little activity, recouped 15,000 from FEMA and paid out 173,000. Our Southwest Lift Station project is or our Cedar Drive Water Project, we paid out 118,000. And Southwest Lift Station, I think that may have been our last 250, so that project is closed out.
So the sewer debt service has started, but the water debt service has not.
Correct. Our other funds are a negative of 43,000 operating. Overall, we're up 267,000 for July. And 700, $769,000 overall. The statement of net position, we still have the loans of $5 million that aren't paid back yet. So once we get those paid back, we can get our flood, water, and sewer fund balances back to the positive with transfers.
Questions? one thing I would point out is as you look at these financial statements and you look at our cash balance, I'd ask you to also look at accumulated depreciation and our other improvements, our assets. I mean, we have in the is that the general fund, the one, the
Yeah, the green.
22.9?
The green, 39 million.
Yeah, so we got 39.7 million in assets in the general fund and 10 million spread out between the water and sewer funds. Those are assets that at some point we have to repair or replace. So when you think about reserves, while that money's there, we also have a commitment to keep our assets newer and properly operating, so. So item 5, done. You good?
Yeah.
Item 5 then.
Payment of bills?
Yep.
All right. Let's look for a motion on the payment of bills.
I'll motion to approve payment of bills.
I'll second.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
You fight over it.
I'll third it.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries.
We've been meeting with the individual commissioners, working through the budget for their departments and everything, and Lynn's come in and seen the overall picture. But we thought it'd be a good idea to have a complete commission working meeting just one more time, everybody, before we bring the first draft to the first meeting in September. So we were hoping we could maybe do that at a 4 o'clock meeting next week, next Tuesday?
Next Monday.
Tuesday.
Labor Day.
Our next meeting is September 2nd, which is the Tuesday after Labor Day, but this would be a special workshop just for the budget that we would have on the 26th at 4 o'clock.
August 26th at 4, if that works.
That way we get some time to go through it in some detail, and let you ask questions and grind through it a little bit more.
Okay.
Does that work for you, Vince?
Does me.
The 26th, what time?
26 at 4.
4.
Tuesday at 4.
Mm-hmm. All good? Okay. All right, then we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Hello, I have a community input really quickly. If I didn't get a chance to go, I thought I was going to come again. Can I go?
Oh, yeah, it was at the beginning,
It was, yep, and then I thought we were going to go after each one, but then,
but I'm willing to make an exception
sorry.
today. We haven't adjourned yet officially.
Cool.
Yeah, come on up.
Okay. All right. I'm Jessica Kudum from 87 North Shore. I am one of the people that received a buyout offer for my house, which was destroyed and torn down. I spoke on the phone and I sent an email to all of the commissioners. One of the things that I wanted to do is say thank you, first of all, for working to acknowledge some of the things that we've lost and to try to work with us as we try to get our lives back. One of the things I had a question about, when we talk about appraisal of the land and how you want to do, get an appraisal of the land, and Jeff, you mentioned maybe before flood value. I wondered if that would be something that you'd be willing to consider, is if we had two numbers, maybe that included the before the flood fair market rate, so that way we would know kind of if even that were something that you'd be willing to offer or help people out with. And I understand that that's asking for more money, but when I went and looked at the, we talk a lot about the CDBD GR, and I'm saying that wrong, DR funds, whatever. But those funds are not for homeowners, I understand. It was given to the city so that they could use for like mitigation and different things. But when I look at the plan that they use for buyouts for homeowners, when they do that, they include, sometimes you have to choose whether you do, it has to be fair and equitable. But one of their plans, and there's a toolkit online if we look at it, it includes offering a fair market value to those whose homes have been destroyed, or relocation assistance, or different incentives for them to try to rebuild back, because the goal is to keep people in the community, to build your tax base, and to continue making tax revenue. So if you're unable to offer maybe a fair market rate or a fair market value for houses, is there a different way that you can help support those of us who have lost our homes and we need to find somewhere else to live? I'm homeless. I've been homeless for the last year. I'm looking at relocating my child's school this year. But in order to get back to this area, are there different things that you could do to help? Like we just heard about different, housing projects and how are people gonna find out about it? Maybe there would be some assistance that could be given to us that comes across maybe not necessarily financial if you look online, I think that there are plans. Other cities and communities have done things that also support, that's not just monetary. And obviously I would like for the city to see how much fair market value would be, and if that would be something that would be possible, and if not, is there another way that we could make up for the difference that would help people and keep them here instead of having to move out of the community and uproot their lives and have even more change? So that seems like a lot, but I wanted to first of all say thank you, and second of all, just ask if you could look a little deeper into what's been done before and what's been done in other communities. So I'm not sure how you came up at your assessed value minus the demolition costs, but if there's a formula that other people have used, which might also benefit us, that might be worth taking a look at. And that kind of starts with like the appraised value of the land and also maybe what it was pre-flood, fair market value, all of those things.
Take that into consideration.
Thank you. Thanks for waiting for me to go. Sorry.
No problem.
Before.
It's okay. Thank you. So I think there was a motion and a second to adjourn.
Vincent Lynn, yep.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Meeting adjourned.